दुख है, पीछे से दब गया है। बैठ बैठ के
तो लगातार ही बैठ रहे हैं।
हिंदी में करना फिर तो है ही नहीं। हिंदी में करना तो हिंदी में तो है ही नहीं।
Talk with the Burjas. Evening chanting, page 14. Yoso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Swakato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipanno Yassa Bhagavato Savak Sangho Tamayam Bhagavantam Sadhammam Sasangam इमे हि सकारि हि यथार्हम् आरोपिते हि अभिजयाम साधुनो भन्ते भगवा सुचिरपरिनिभूतोऽपि पश्चिमा जनता नुकम्पमानसा इमे सकारे दुर्गतपणाकारभूते पटिगृह्णातु अम्हाकं दीर्घरतं हिताय सुखाय अर्हन् सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तम् अभिवादिनि स्वाखातो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि हन्दमयं बुद्धस्य भगवतो उपभाग नमकारं करोमसि नमो तस्य भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य नमो तस्य भगवतो अर्हतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्य बुद्धान्मयं बुद्धानुसतिनयं करोमसि तं कोपन भगवन्त एवं कल्याणो इति सद्दो अभुगतो इति पिसो भगवा अर्हन् सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरुषधम्म परति सत्ता देव मनुस्सानं बुद्धो भगवाति हन्दमयं बुद्धाभिगीतिं करोमसि बुद्धवारहन्त वरदा द्विगुणाभियुतो शुद्धाभियान करुणा समागततो बोधेसियो सुजनकं कमलं वसुरो वन्दामहं तमर्णं शिरसा जिनेन्द्रम् बुद्धो यो सर्वप्राणिनां शरणं खेममुत्तमं पठमानुसतिष्ठानं वन्दामि तं शिरेणहं बुद्धस्सहस्मि दासीव बुद्धो मे सामिकिस्सरो बुद्धस्सहं नियादेमि शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि बुद्धस्यैव सुबोधितं नास्ति मे शरणम् अन्यं बुद्धो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सच्चवज्जेन वड्ढेयं सत्तु शासने बुद्धं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं पशुतम् इद Sabbepi antarayami mahe sumtasya tejasa. Handmayam dhammanusatinayam karomasi Swakhato bhagavata dhammo Sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko Opanaiko paccatta veditabbo vinyohiti. Handmayam dhamma vigitim karomasi Swakhatati guna yoga vasi naseyo Yomaga paka pariya nivimoka bedo Dhammo kuloka patana tadadhari dhari Vandamaham tamaram varadhammamitam Dhammo yo sabbapaninam saranam khemamuttamam Dutiyanusatittanam vandamitam sirenam Dhammasahasmidasiva Dhammo me samikissaro Dhammasaham niyademi sariran jivitanchidam Vandantiyam charissami Dhammaseva sudhammatam Nati me saranam anyam dhammo me saranam varam Etena satya vajjena vaddeyam sattu sasane Dhammam me vandamanaya yam punyam pasutam ida Sabbepi antarayami mahe sumtasya tejasa. Handmayam sanghanusatinayam karomasi Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidam chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Auniyo pauniyo Dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttaram punyaketam lokasati. Handmayam sanghavigitim karomasi Sadhammajo supatipati gunadiyuto Yo attavidho ariyapoggala sangaseto Siladi dhamma pavara sayakaya cetto Vandamaham tamariya naganam susuddham Sangho yosa paninam saranam khemamuttamam Tatyanusatittanam vandamitam sirenam Sanghasasmidasiva संगो मे सामि किस्सरो संगासहं नियादीं शरीरं जीवितं चिदं वन्दन्तीहं चरिष्यामि संगस्सोपटिपन्नतं नास्ति मे शरणम् अन्यत् संघो मे शरणं वरम् एतेन सच्चवज्जेन वर्धेयं सत्तु शासने संघं मे वन्दमानाय यं पुण्यं प्रसुतम् इद सर्वेऽपि अन्तरायामि माहेषु तस्य तेजसा।
मंगल सूत्र का पाठ करते हैं हिंदी में, पेज नंबर 36 पे है हिंदी बुक में।
पेज 36 हिंदी चैंटिंग बुक, मंगल सूत्र। आए हम उत्तम मंगल की गाथाओं का पाठ करें। ऊपर ना ऐसा मैंने सुना, एक समय भगवान श्रावस्ती के जेतवन उद्यान में अनाथ पिंडक के द्वारा बनाए गए विहार में रह रहे थे। उस समय कोई एक दिव्य कांतिमान देवता देर रात संपूर्ण जेतवन को आलोकित कर जहाँ भगवान थे वहाँ उनके समीप गया। पास जाकर भगवान का अभिवादन कर एक ओर खड़ा हो गया। एक ओर खड़े हो उस देवता ने गाथा में भगवान से कहा, कल्याण की आकांक्षा करते हुए बहुत से देव एवं मनुष्य मंगल धर्मों के बारे में विचार करते रहे हैं। कृपया आप ही बताएं कि उत्तम मंगल धर्म क्या है। भगवान ने उत्तर दिया, मूर्खों की संगत न करना, ज्ञानियों की संगत करना, पूजनीयों की पूजा करना, पूजनीय लोगों की पूजा करना, यह उत्तम मंगल है। उपयुक्त निवास, पूर्व जन्मों का संचित पुण्य, अपने को सम्यक रूप से समाहित करना, यह उत्तम मंगल है। अपार विद्वता, शिल्प कौशल, नियमों में सुशिक्षित, सुभाषित वाणी, यह उत्तम मंगल है। माता पिता की सेवा, स्त्री पुत्र का पालन, व्याकुलता रहित कर्म, यह उत्तम मंगल है। दान धर्ममय आचरण, रिश्तेदारों की सहायता, अनवर्जित कर्म, यह उत्तम मंगल है। संयमित पाप कार्यों से विरति, मद्यपान न करना, हर परिस्थिति में सजग रहना, यह उत्तम मंगल है। सम्मानियों को गौरव देना, विनीत, संतुष्ट तथा कृतज्ञ रहना, समय समय पर धर्म श्रवण, यह उत्तम मंगल है। सहनशीलता, आज्ञाकारिता, श्रमणों का दर्शन, समय समय पर धर्म चर्चा, यह उत्तम मंगल है। तप, ब्रह्मचर्य, आर्य सत्यों का दर्शन, निर्वाण का साक्षात्कार, यह उत्तम मंगल है। लोक धर्मों के स्पर्श से जिनका चित्त कंपित नहीं होता, शोक रहित, निर्मल, निर्भय रहता है, यह उत्तम मंगल है। इस तरह के कार्य करके जो सर्वत्र अपराजित हो, सर्वत्र कल्याण की भागी होते हैं, उनका यही उत्तम मंगल है।
listen to a discourse by Mr. Rodney Smith on right effort and wise effort.
Tonight I want to talk about right effort and wise effort. And it sort of dovetails on Guy's talk last night, I think. There'll be a little overlap, but I think it's worth overlapping at a few points. And it's interesting just to look at the way I'm using right and wise, because all of us think we're making right effort. We're acting in accordance to the laws of our life, aren't we? The strategies of our schooling, of our desires. And it's an interesting paradox in Buddhism is when we think we're the most right, we're often the most wrong. Isn't that interesting? It like pulls the rug out from under us. Just as an example, last night Guy was talking about the knee-jerk response of our selves to move away from pain and towards pleasure. But if there's an axiom of Buddhism that I would suggest, it would be move towards the difficult, not away from it. But that's not a natural response. Our natural response is move away from the difficult and to tuck ourselves in some kind of comfortable bath within comfort. And so that theme can play out in the course of our meditation. And we think we're making right effort, but it's not wise effort. So I want to take us back to the intentionality that I mentioned on the opening night, because I want to start this thing. I can't very well talk anymore about one facet of Buddhism because it all comes in. It's a multifaceted single. What is it? It's like a hologram that has many different perspectives but holds a single image. Is that fair? And so I want to just bring us along just a little bit into this so that we can understand what wise effort is. So we have to understand how we're inclining our minds. What is our intentionality for our practice? And that's a paramount consideration, because whether we make wise or right effort will depend upon how we're inclined, what we're inclined towards. Now, this is not a judgment, although you may read it as such. It certainly is not. Whether you make wise effort or right effort is up to you. And if you're going to do stress reduction, if you're going to modify character, if you're going to do some cultivation, you will be making right effort. But it's not the direction towards freedom. Okay? So that's what I call wise effort, is the effort directed towards freedom. Now that I have your attention. You see, let me I will quote the Buddha, because I'm kind of standing out here alone making such a statement. Now, what I call the direction of freedom is under the term that best sanctifies that term to me is anatta, selflessness, emptiness. And the term that best sanctifies right effort, but not wise effort, is the sense of I, where I is the leadership of our practice. I is in leadership of our practice. Okay? And the Buddha says, he talks about that leadership of I as being unwise view. He says, The Buddha spoke about the pain of unwise view in the following passage. Monks, for a person of unwise view in which the I is the leadership of our practice, these are my words, of a person of unwise view, whatever bodily, verbal, or mental conduct he or she undertakes in accordance with that view, and whatever volitional aspiration, wish, and volitional formations, which means effort, are engendered in accordance with that view, all will lead to undesirable, unwanted, and disagreeable harm and suffering to yourself and others. Period. Because the view's wrong. Now you can do a lot with right view. You can do a lot with right effort. Right meaning under the leadership of I, following your natural inclinations of self towards accumulating and controlling and discovering and overcoming and producing, because the sense of self thrives within that environment. There's no project that the sense of self likes better than to find and understand its own demise. It would take that project on before it'll take any, because it both feeds itself through its own observation. It's like hiring a criminal to lead your police force. Right? The leadership's wrong here. And the crimes keep happening. The sense of self operates in accordance to its own laws. And those are the laws of contraction, distance, disconnection, the laws of trying to get over using time in the future to overcome the difficulties of the present, to be held within the confines of one's own thoughts. And if we look at our sitting, mostly we do just that. We think our way through the time on the mat, don't we? And we kind of go drifting with the thoughts, and when something dawns on us that needs some recognition, we meet that experience with a lot of thinking and plotting and strategizing on how to get around it or through it until the bell will ring. And we think we're effortlessly working in accordance with the deepest teachings of the Buddha. But he only taught one thing. He taught the end, suffering and its end. And if you understand the formation of the leadership of I, the formation of the sense of I, the sense of self, you would understand we would understand how pain manifests. Because the self manifests through the contracted spirit, the tightening down, the defensive resistance to something, as Guy mentioned last night, which we recognize as a thought or an expectation or an anticipation of a future recovery from the misery I'm now in. And that sense of self is that contracted feeling. That's the suffering. That's the suffering. And so we make efforts, this is the criminal in charge of the police, we make efforts to surmount that contraction. But the efforts to surmount the contraction is more contraction to what it is that we're perceiving. We think we're doing it right because that's how we've always worked this thing. We've always tried to overcome through a genuine, disciplined effort, whatever obstacles we face. We've always done that, and it's worked successfully in school and perhaps gotten us degrees or acclaim. But that's where it breaks down in this tradition, in any genuine spiritual tradition. In one passage in the Sutta Nipata, the Buddha says, all effort is suffering. He meant all right effort in the way I'm using it. All willful effort. So how can we take this right effort that we all feel, and the only effort we know, and invert it so that it actually is in accordance with the teaching? Because that's what, for if you have that inclination of mind, meaning if your intentionality is to take this thing as far as it'll go, not stopping or treading water, in the multiple ways that we can do that throughout the history of our spiritual journey, then it must be in accordance with this simple teaching of emptiness. Everything we do, and I used to wait until people have matured sufficiently to bring this talk up, but I believe now that it needs to be talked on day one, the first retreat. And we may have any idea what this emptiness is. We may not feel any significant change and very full of ourselves, and it doesn't matter. If you work in accordance with the principles of anatta, you will see it. If you work in discordance with those principles, you won't. Do we want to see it or not? That's the question. Is our inclination, is our intention to open up to this level of the teaching? Or is it to stay safe, and this again is not pejorative, is it to stay safe within the leadership of I, safely resting upon the many ways that this will build our image, our reputation, our knowledge, our sense of well-being, our sense of tranquility, steadiness of mind. There are multiple ways that this can be honored as character development. Now, just to recover character development, the Buddha spoke a lot about character development. But does it have to be a sidebar to ending suffering? Or does it happen in relationship to this deepest principle of the teaching? And I say it does. It's not something that you need to focus on outside of ending suffering. It happens on its own. Because right effort, willful effort, effort under the leadership of I, will not take us where we are wanting to go if our inclination, if our intention, the truth of where the Buddha is pointing. And it won't show us what we need to do to get there. We have to take the ways that we have been working in this world, the way energetically, our willful effort, and invert that energy so that it moves towards the recognition and discovery and realization of what is here, not towards the manipulation, distortion of what is here. Most of us start the meditation feeling very awkward about ourselves. We don't feel there's anything holy in us. Let's just move on and get something holy that I can be proud of in myself. Wait for a reasonable state of mind that feels otherworldly, and then I will corral around that and try to nurture it, milk it really, my spiritual worth out of that. But everything else is kind of lame, ordinary, routine, just me. And the teaching goes into the middle of that. Just me. It doesn't skirt any of that. The mundane, the ordinary. It goes right into the middle of that. And we realize it, we perceive it differently. We perceive it, we see it as the sacred, once we have seen it in its correct orientation. And the sense of I, the leadership of I, builds upon its own efforts through its future expectation. Its scaffolding is secure as it marches forward on the journey, the noble journey of ending suffering. Ordinary, routine, just me. And the teaching goes into the middle of that. Just me. It doesn't skirt any of that. The mundane, the ordinary. It goes right into the middle of that. And we realize it, we perceive it differently. We perceive it, we see it as the sacred, once we have seen it in its correct orientation. And the sense of I, the leadership of I, builds upon its own efforts through its future expectation. Its scaffolding is secure as it marches forward on the journey, the noble journey of ending suffering. The noble journey of ending suffering cannot be future. It's now, literally, now or never. We really work ourselves very hard in this tradition and wring our hands. For what? What's the point? What I call wise effort is establishing ourselves in the middle of that without blinking. And to invert the energy to look futuristically towards expectation of the results, we have to invert that energy. And it's towards what I call the 4 R's of wise effort. The 4 R's break apart the scaffolding of the leadership of I, the scaffolding of the sense of self, that which holds the self together. And again, even if we don't recognize that that's what we ultimately want, but we feel the yearning of our heart pulling us into some sense of completion, then we have to have enough trust early on, even before insight, to work in cooperation with this teaching, not against it, in alignment with it. And then it starts unfolding much quicker than what I did, which was to work against it until I broke myself apart and then disabled I came back into the field. What are the 4 R's of effort? And this is where there's some overlap with Guy's talk, but again, I say it differently. Not better, just differently. And for each of you to listen from the different perception, because I believe that we can get stuck in believing the truth from a certain perspective that we have of Dharma. And when you listen to different voices, it breaks that icy freeze that we have in relationship to one perspective and allows us the flowing movement of different perspectives, so then we gain access to a more complete sense of what is being said. So the first R, well, let me just go through the R's. It's relax, release, relinquish, and rejoin. And the first R is very known, much known to us, and it's where the overlap is that is the sense of relaxation. But you see, relaxation, we have a misperception of what that is. To us, it means like getting into the sauna, right? Or a warm bath, and just like, But, so indulgence is the near enemy of relaxation, you might say. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about psychic relaxation, where there is a surrendering to the need to be defensive, right? When you're defensive, you're tight, tense, anxious, on guard. And the willingness to surrender that defensiveness is what I call relaxation, psychic relaxation. And it also encompasses physical relaxation, but it goes much deeper than just a good massage. And what happens, interestingly, is that when we relax, we see the edges of our resistance. We're willing, because relaxation takes us through the areas, the boundaries of our defenses. We have to admit, if we're willing to go towards the difficult, we have to be willing to look at those areas in which we refuse to surrender, in which we refuse to relax, because we hold a particular perspective of harm that's on the other side of that boundary. For instance, with some mind states that might be going through us as we sit. Some of us want a mind state of grief, for some of us, or fear or anger, depending upon our history with it, depending upon our perception of what is manifesting in the history we've had with that particular thing. There can be a strong sense of self-protection from, and a secondary response of fear towards what it is that's arising, the experience that's arising. And I'm not going to simplify it, because it can't be. We have to experience those states of mind sufficiently until we prove them to be harmless. That's what has to happen. We have to be exposed repeatedly to the whole array of mind, which is what's happening this week, until everything in the mind is seen and perceived as harmless, until we can essentially relax completely with ourselves. And as we relax deeper and deeper, we lose the sense of self-definition. We become more spacious. We become less defined. More amorphous, you might say. But it's not like, who am I, what am I doing? It's not like a psychotic not knowing. Because stillness accompanies it. You see? When we hold that level of stillness, watch the sense of self become more vague. We don't need it. Something else comes forward. Much, much more infinite and wondrous than the contracted sense of me. And so relaxation, we relax our way to freedom. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it absolutely, there's a law of parsimony in science, is something is so beautifully apparent. It's so architecturally manifest beauty that it has to be true. And the Buddha's teaching is like that. You know it's true even if you don't know it in your gut, which most of us already do, just by its sheer simplicity, by its absolute elegance. And so and all the hard work, the striving to, has actually worked counter to the need to just relax. Stop resisting. You also know something, you'll begin to see that the deeper that sense of relaxation, the quieter we become, the more spacious the attention and the awareness, and the more subtle the observation. And you'll then pick up areas of disquiet, unease, at more and more subtle levels. Not through striving, not through long, enduring breath meditations for months on end, but from your interests to discover where the residues of your suffering maintain themselves. Once we're on to the fact that we create our own suffering, we're like a bloodhound on the path. The interest becomes, and the joy of that discovery becomes so compelling. We don't need endless months of refined samadhi work. And at each stage, there's this sense of safe and harmlessness, a deep sense of safety. And what counters that for most of us is that we don't trust. We've had history of mistrusting relationships. And that keeps us on edge of ourselves, keeps us from a deeper sense of relaxation. So we have to do psychological work often in accompaniment of this spiritual work. But we do it from the spiritual perspective. You see, once we get a sense of how to work this thing, it becomes very easy and impersonal, light, feathery. We're willing to go anywhere because there's no self-implication here. I had a 15-year-old, I teach teens. So a 15-year-old, I was teaching relaxation and what it meant. And so she goes home and comes back the next week and says, I have something to report. I said, okay, what? She says, I was in the middle of our family, and I think she had a brother and another sister or something, parents, and there started to be the ratcheting up of yelling and disquiet in the house, and I could see my role in that and how I would add to it. And I remembered the instructions this week, which was just to relax. And in the middle of my rising, I said, I don't have to do this. And she sat back down. She just released the tension. And the whole family system imploded on itself and couldn't rise up. And she didn't know that before. She didn't know she had that ability. She thought her role in life was just to march forward with the rest of the anxious people in her family. How safe is your mind? How safe is it? Are you willing to look? You don't have to do anything but look. Awareness will prove its harmlessness. Just look. Just be willing to look. How much energy does that take? The energy comes in the avoidance, not in the observation. Relax, release. Now this is an interesting one. We release the need to control the outcome. That's huge. Because if you want to really attack or get a sense of the sense of self, if you want to take it head on, watch those areas in which you cannot control. Like when you lose your car keys. Or something's out of place. Watch what happens, the eruption within consciousness of a moment of chaos, in which we are completely out of control. And then you'll see how the momentum, the historical current momentum of this sense of self. Because in that moment of chaos, there's complete vulnerability. And there's no rightness to the universe. What will protect me if it's not my control? We have no faith, you see. We have very little faith. Our faith, no, we have a lot of faith. It's just in us. So we keep the same amount of faith, we just move it. So if I don't, one is very, I find these, like when we worry, we feel like we need to worry or the outcome won't be in line with what I want to happen. So the worry, that tension, keeps us believing that the outcome depends upon me fretting over the outcome. And then we combine that with a sense of caring. I only can show that I care when I worry about something. I'm worried about you. Well, you must care about me. This is absolute insanity. Again, the sense of trust. And what you'll do is you'll bottom out on your need to control. Don't ask you to give it up. You're not going to be able to. Just watch how it fails you. You cannot order the universe. The first thing you'll do is blame your sense of unworthiness. You'll think, I'm just not, other people can, I can't. The CEOs of the world can do it. I can't. So then there's a sense of self-failure. But if you just shake yourself a little bit and scratch the surface of the CEOs, they're screaming inside too. Nobody can. And we bottom out. You see, we do it after the fact. The room's cold. It's already cold. I will turn up the temperature. Great, it's already cold. You're not changing the now. You're going to change the then, but you're doing nothing the now. But we hold on what we're going to do. I'm changing the temperature. I have a beautiful example of being out of control, but also the wisdom of a dear friend, student of mine, who has 4 children, and she of various ages, and she was driving down the interstates of Seattle, And as usual, it was locked in traffic, and she was late for school, and she had a meeting, and her kids were late for school, and they were all horsing around the back seat, yelling and screaming. And she was just in tears, practically. And she was just about ready to admit defeat when she said, "I will never be outside of this car." Now listen to that. Don't laugh at it. Listen to it. I will never, never, I will not have a life outside this car. You see, when you really say that, then you deal with the life that's in the car. And you square yourself with it. But as long as you believe there's a life outside the car, as soon as I let the kids out, then you'll live with that expectation and the anxiety and the distraught until you get there. But when you know you will never be a life outside of this car, so you have no other frame of reference, then it's completely workable. Fit the equation of our own suffering into that. Whatever our suffering in fits into that equation. Not through your will, but through your surrender. Not through your will, but through your release. That's where the effort goes. I cannot change this. But we have to actually see that we cannot change it. We have to be pushed bottomed out. This cannot be changed. As long as we believe in our will and our need to control, we will never surrender. Why would we? We think we have the upper hand. Because reality is what is left when we drop alternatives. Relax, release, relinquish. Relinquish is seeing what is false, what is untrue, and letting it go. Releasing, relinquishing what is untrue. The world of your thinking, the world of your story, the world of your emotional life, all the things that it says about. You see, when you get to the point of being willing to go wherever this thing takes us, it will take us through everything. What is deeply meaningful to me? Created as a scaffolding of me. What holds me together? My image. To know what is authentic, to know what is real. In Buddhism, we do it by various means. Impermanence, as one of us mentioned. Things that are changed cannot be real. What's real cannot change. What's left? We do it through the despair of seeing that the appearances of life cannot be counted on, cannot be relied upon. There are various ways that we can begin to perceive and understand the unreality of where we depend upon the unreality of life and relinquish that. But it will take us through our thought. Nothing that we perceive, nothing that we think, nothing that we feel is ultimately true. And at some point, if we are inclined in that direction again, we will have to relinquish all of that. Driven by a question, what is left when the unreal is abandoned? What is left? Because that, when people are dying, I have a woman now who I do telephone contacts. I've never given up having that relationship with the terminally ill. And the woman is a long-time student, about 15 or 20 years, and she's dying. And we get on the phone, and the conversation inevitably starts with what she's unable to do. And it ends with what is undiminished in her. She starts off by telling me, oh, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that, I don't have the energy, I don't have the strength, this is being taken away, that's being taken away. I said, okay, well, all of that should be taken away because it's not true. If it can be taken away, it can't be authentic. What is still remaining? What's left with you that has been undiminished with after you've given up all these other things? What is undiminished? And we meet in that space together. Because it's going to be taken away. Some of it's already happened to because you've had an accident or some trauma or something. And because we have leaned so much upon what the inauthentic aspect of ourselves, the part that can be taken away, and we've counted on it so much, and that has to go. That inevitably has to go. In everyone's life, it has to go at some point. That we've missed what remains regardless of the turbulence of impermanence. Because not everything changes. Only what is false changes. And the final R, my favorite. Relax, release, relinquish, and rejoin. Rejoin. Reconnect with your hearts. That's the intention of metta, is to start that process of rejoining through our opinions. Once our opinions can't no longer obscure the natural rejoining to other hearts, to the friend, to the enemy, to the neutral, all of that. Rejoining with ourselves, regardless of the knee-jerk response to the emotion that says disconnect, we rejoin. We rejoin. And the effort, the inverted effort, the effort that would have taken us far away from ever rejoining and much more distant to ourselves, now claims reference to reconnect, to come back together, to rejoin. But there needs to be readiness for this. One student of mine, when I had mentioned to him about reconnecting and rejoining, he said to me, and this is a quote, "What about all the work I've done to be self-empowered? Are you suggesting I let people use me again?" You see? There's a maturity aspect of this, which is character development, which is responsibility and accountability and all of those things, which, if we've done this right, has marched right along with us as we have met and aligned ourselves with the teachings of the Buddha. Not the psychological messages of our culture, but the 2,500-year-old message of a pointing that is as correct then, today, as it was then. But it requires a spiritual and psychological readiness to be able to rejoin, because you have to admit and be able to listen across the barrier of disconnection. You want to stop your anger like that when you're angry at another person? Here's how to do it. Now, whether you can see the maturity level that each of us have by our willingness to do this thing, but it's a sure-fired way of dropping your anger completely. All you have to do is to listen truly to the other side, of the argument. Genuinely. Because you cannot listen and be angry at the same time. Because to listen, you have to rejoin. And when you rejoin, you can't be distant and righteous. Now watch how righteousness governs our listening. But that's the way to do it. And so this is a call to come back together. This is a call of the wild. When late at night here you can hear the howling of the coyotes. And something in you resonates deeply with the call of that ancient sound. So too in each one of us is the ancient certainty of our interconnection. And sometimes you can just feel it as the wonder but the heart is there. Follow it. Line it up. Line your practice up now. We're too old to delay. Let's line it up. What is your intentionality? Is it towards wise effort or righteous effort? Let's line it up. Let's not work against the direction that we intend to go. Thank you. Can we sit for a moment or two? Relax. Release. Relinquish. And rejoin. Where is there a burden in those 4 words? Where is there a work ethic? too long. So there's a walking period until 9. Until 9.
हिंदी अनुवाद संक्षेप में कर देते हैं। उनने टाइटल था राइट एफर्ट और वाइज एफर्ट, मतलब कि जो सामान्यतः हम कोशिश करते हैं और जो समझदारी से कोशिश करते हैं, साधना के संदर्भ में बात हो रही है। उन्होंने कहा कि जब हमें, अगर हमारा उद्देश्य है कि अपना स्ट्रेस कम करना है, अपनी पर्सनालिटी बढ़ानी है, या सामान्य जीवन में पैसा कमाना है, तो उसके लिए हमको एफ़र्ट जो करना पड़ता है वो राइट एफ़र्ट उसको वो कहते हैं, जिसमें कि मैं का भाव जुड़ा हुआ है। वो सामान्य परिस्थितियों में, कॉमन लाइफ में वो उचित है उस तरह के काम के लिए। लेकिन अगर धर्म के क्षेत्र में मैं का भाव साथ रहेगा तो उससे अंततः दुख ही आएगा, क्योंकि वो अविद्या हमारे साथ रहती है। तो वो कहते हैं कि अनत्ता जो है मुख्य विद्या का स्वरूप है, अनत्ता। और अगर हम अत्ता भाव लेकर काम करेंगे तो दुख ही मिलेगा। तो जो हम काम एफर्ट करते हैं साधना में अनात्म भाव को साथ लेके, उसको वो वाइज एफर्ट कहते हैं। तो उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया कि मैं का भाव लेके दुख से मुक्ति पाना उसी तरह है जैसे किसी चोर को आप पुलिस का हेड बना दो और कहो कि चोर को ढूंढो, वो संभव नहीं है। उसी तरह से ये बात हो जाती है। और वो ध्यान दे रहे थे कि अधिकतर जो हमारी मेडिटेशन सिटिंग्स वगैरह हैं उसमें यही रहता है कि हम क्या स्ट्रेटजी बनाएं, परेशानियां तो कैसे निकलें, कि जो सामान्य जीवन में करते हैं परेशानियों को दूर करने का, वैसा ही हम साधना में भी करते हैं। जबकि इस तरह का एफर्ट जो है वो दुख का कारण बनता है। हमारा उद्देश्य यही होना चाहिए कि हम शुरू से ही अनात्म बोध को साथ रख के, एटलीस्ट अगर हमें उसकी इंसाइट भी नहीं हो, समझ जो हो, हमारी साधना विधि तो ऐसी हो जो उसके साथ चलती है। तो जो सामान्य एफर्ट है उसमें ये रहता है कि आज मैं कोशिश करूँगा तो भविष्य में मेरा कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा और मैं आगे सुधर जाऊँगा। वो सामान्य जीवन हो चाहे अपना साधक की साधना हो। जबकि वाइज एफर्ट का मतलब ये है कि भविष्य की ओर ना देख के इस समय जो उचित है वो किया जाए और वो प्रज्ञा के साथ किया जाए। तो उसके लिए उन्होंने 4 आयाम बताए, 4 R's जो उन्होंने कहा। इसका पहला आयाम है रिलैक्स, मतलब जो हम सिर्फ शारीरिक रूप से रिलैक्स करना या अपने को छोड़ देना और आराम करने की बात नहीं। साइकिक रिलैक्सेशन मतलब जो हम चीज़ों के प्रति हमेशा डरे रहते हैं, डिफेंसिवनेस पे रहते हैं कि ऐसा ना हो जाए, कहीं वैसा ना हो जाए, और समझते हैं कि हमारे एफर्ट से ही सब चीज़ें सुधरेंगी। वो भाव को छोड़ने का बात हो रही है कि साधना के क्षेत्र में हमको प्रकृति पे निर्भर करना होगा कि जितना हम मैं का भाव छोड़ेंगे उतना ही साधना हमारी सक्षम हो पाएगी। तो जितना जितना मैं का भाव छोड़ते हैं उतना उतना मन शांत हो जाता है, और जितना मन शांत होता है उससे जो और गहरे संस्कार हैं, क्लेश हैं, वो सामने आते हैं, तो हम बहुत गहराई से काम कर पाते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम अपनी मैं का भाव लेके साथ करेंगे तो उलझते जाते हैं। हाँ, इसके लिए आवश्यकता ये है कि हम जो भी डिफ़िकल्टी आती है उससे घबराएं ना, और अपनी हिम्मत बनाए रखें कि कुछ भी हो जाए हम उसको देखेंगे, उसमें छेड़छाड़ नहीं करेंगे। दूसरा आयाम उन्होंने बताया रिलीज़ का, कि रिलीज़ का मतलब कि वही एक ही उसी तरह का है, उसमें साइकिक बातें थी, इसमें है कि जो भी हम चाहते हैं आउटकम आना, उसके ऊपर कंट्रोल भी हम छोड़ दें, कि चाहे कुछ भी आउटकम आ जाए हमें फ़र्क नहीं पड़ेगा, कैसा भी नतीजा हो हम उस पर चिंता नहीं करेंगे, क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि हम एक सारे कॉस्मॉस का, एक विश्व का पार्ट हैं, एक ब्रह्मांड का पार्ट हैं, तो हम में इतनी क्षमता नहीं कि हम ब्रह्मांड को ऑर्डर कर सकेंगे जैसा हम चाहते हैं वैसा ही हो। हाँ, इसके लिए हमको इतना गहन विश्वास की, फेथ की बहुत ज़रूरत है कि प्रकृति के नियमों में फेथ हो। और हमको, मैंने उदाहरण के रूप में कहा कि हमको ऐसा लगता है कि अगर हम किसी चीज़ के बारे में केयर करते हैं तो हमें उसके बारे में वरी करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, जो ऑब्वियसली एक मूर्खता है, क्योंकि वरी करने से केयर करने में दिक्कत ही आती है। तो उन्होंने उदाहरण दिया कि एक लेडी का जो अपने 4 बच्चों को साथ लेकर कार में कहीं जा रही थी, ऑफिस में देर हो रही थी, ट्रैफिक जैम हो गया, परेशान हो रही थी, तो सडनली उनको याद आया कि नहीं, जो ऐसी स्थिति है मैं ऐसी स्थिति में रहूँगी हमेशा के लिए, मैं ये नहीं सोचूंगी कि मैं इस कार से बाहर निकल के क्या करूँगी, अभी जो स्थिति है मैं उसी को एक्सेप्ट करके रहूँगी, तो जो परेशानी थी वो कम हो गई। तीसरा आयाम उन्होंने बताया रिलिंक्विश का मतलब त्याग करना किस चीज़ का, जो सत्य नहीं है, क्योंकि हम अधिकतर जीवन में जो असत्य है उसको पकड़े रहते हैं। हम सब जानते हैं कि जो संस्कार हैं, जो 5 खंड हैं, वो सब अनित्य हैं, क्योंकि वो बदलते रहते हैं। अब जो चीज़ प्रतिक्षण बदल रही है उसको हम अपना कैसे मान सकते हैं और मैं कैसे मान सकता हूँ, तो ये बात हमको सचमुच में, ये इसी को वो रिलिंक्विशमेंट कहते हैं, कि जो अनरियल है, जो नित्य नहीं है, उसको हम त्याग दें, उसके प्रति तादात्म्य का अभ्यास त्याग दें, क्योंकि उसके बाद जो बचता है वो, जो ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर हम सब त्याग देंगे तो कुछ बचता नहीं है, कुछ बचता है जो अकृत है, जैसे अनबॉर्न अनकंडीशन, जैसे अजान सुमित तो बताते हैं, जो अवेकंड अवेयरनेस है वो बचती है, वो कभी कम नहीं होती। और चौथी चीज़ उन्होंने कही फिर रीजॉइन, मतलब हम जब इस तरह से काम करेंगे तो हमारा चित्त शुद्ध हो जाएगा, होता है, तो हम दूसरों लोगों के साथ जो हमारे एक द्वंद्व का भाव रहता है, ये लगता है कई लोग हमको एक्सप्लॉइट ना कर दे, लोग हमको परेशान ना करें, वो बात को भी हमको, जब इस तरह से काम करेंगे, ट्रैंक्विलिटी आएगी, मैं का भाव कम होगा, तो फिर दूसरे लोगों के साथ जुड़ने का काम संभव होगा, हम दिल से लोगों के साथ जुड़ सकते हैं, जो बैरियर्स रहते हैं वो हट जाते हैं, क्योंकि अब फिर हम किसी से अगर हमारी अदावत भी है तो उसकी बात सुनेंगे, उसके बाद समझेंगे, क्योंकि हमें पूर्वाग्रह नहीं होगा, और हमारी इच्छा है, हमारी साधना की डायरेक्शन ये है कि हमें लोगों के साथ रिजॉइन करना है। तो इसलिए वो कहते हैं कि हमारी जो साधना का डायरेक्शनैलिटी, इंटेंशनैलिटी क्लियर होनी चाहिए। और ये अंत में कहा कि जो 4 आर हमने बताया है, रिलैक्स, रिलीज, रिलिंक्विश और रिजॉइन, इसमें कोई एफर्ट करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, एक फेथ की ज़रूरत है और एक विलिंगनेस की ज़रूरत है कि हम देखें कि क्या हो रहा है, क्योंकि भगवान की जो शिक्षा है उसमें, जैसे सतीपट्ठान में खास तौर से कहते हैं, जो हो रहा है उसको देखते रहिए और प्रकृति अपने आप काम करेगी। अब ब्रह्म विहारों की साधना करते हैं। यदि हमारे मन में कोई चिंता है, कोई किसी तरह की दुर्भाव है, किसी तरह का वैर है, तो उसको याद करके ये भावना करते हैं, अहं अवेरो होमि, अव्यापज्यो होमि, अनिगो होमि, सुखी अत्तानं परिहरामि। अब अपने प्रियजनों को याद करके भाई बंधु, माता पिता, अपने आचार्यगण, जो हमारे साथ धर्म भाई धर्म बंधु हैं, बहनें हैं, उनको याद करके उनके प्रति कोई आशंका, दुर्भाव जागा हो, बैर का भाव जागा हो, चिंता का भाव जागा हो, तो उसको याद करके ये शुभेच्छा करते हैं। मम माता पितु आचार्या च ज्ञातिमित्ता च स ब्रह्मचारिणो च अवेरा होन्तु अव्यापज्या होन्तु अनीगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। हमारे सभी प्रियजन निर्वैर हों, निर्द्वेष हों, चिंता मुक्त हों, और यही भाव हमारे धरती की रक्षा करने वाले, हमारे घरों की, प्रांत की, देश की रक्षा करने वाले देवों के प्रति भी। आरक्षा देवता, भूमट्ठा देवता, रुक्षट्ठा देवता, आकाशट्ठा देवता अवीरा होन्तु
अव्यापज्या होन्तु
अनीगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। अब अनंत प्राणियों के प्रति, चाहे पास हों, दूर हों, सूक्ष्म हों, स्थूल हों, इस लोक के हों, दूसरे लोकों के हों, पुरुष हों, स्त्री हों, आर्य हों, अनार्य हों, सबके प्रति ऐसी भावना, ऐसी शुभेच्छा, मैत्री भावना। सर्वे सत्ता, सर्वे पाना, सर्वे भूता, सर्वे पुंगला, सर्वे अत्ता भाव पर्यापन्ना, सब्बा इत्थियो, सब्बे पुरुषा, सब्बे अरिया, सब्बे अनरिया, सब्बे देवा, सब्बे मनुष्या, सब्बे विनिपातिका अवीरा होन्तु अव्यापज्या होन्तु अनीगा होन्तु सुखी अत्तानं परिहरन्तु। करुणा ब्रह्म विहार। सभी हमारे शहर में, हमारी पड़ोस में, देश में, विश्व में सभी दुख प्राणी जो दुखी हैं, दुख से मुक्त हों, ऐसी शुभकामना करते हुए, याद करते हुए, जिनको हम पर्सनली जानते हैं या जिनके बारे में सुनते हैं, किस तरह से लाखों लोग बीमार हैं, करोड़ों लोग घरों में बंद हैं, लाखों लोग बेरोज़गार हैं, उन सबके दुख को याद करते हुए शुभकामना कि शीघ्र अतिशीघ्र परिस्थितियाँ सुधरें, उन सबके मन सुधरें, हम सबके मन सुधरें, ताकि कठिन परिस्थिति में भी दुख ना हो, और जो रोगी हैं उनका उपचार ठीक से हो, दवा ठीक से मिल पाए, नई दवा ईजाद हो जाए, वैक्सीन मिल जाए, ताकि और भयानक रूप न ले ये महामारी। सबीतियो विभजन्तु शोको रोगो विनश्यतु माते भवतु अन्तरायो सुखी दीर्घायुको भवत्
सुखी
युको भवत् सुखी दीर्घायुको भवत्। कृतज्ञता ज्ञापन, आभार, धन्यवाद उन सभी का जो इस महामारी में युद्ध को लीड कर रहे हैं, युद्ध महामारी के खिलाफ युद्ध को। डॉक्टर लोग, मेडिकल स्टाफ, नर्सेज और अन्य लोग जो एसेंशियल सर्विसेज बनाए रखे हुए हैं, इन सब के प्रति हृदय से आभार और शुभेच्छा कि वो सब सुरक्षित रहें, वो खुद बीमार न हों, स्वस्थ रहें, प्रसन्न रहें, सारी सुख सुविधाएं उनको अस्पतालों में मिल पाएँ, सारे प्रोटेक्शन डिवाइसेस मिल पाएँ। और आभार कृतज्ञता के रूप में आए हम सब अपने पुण्य उनके साथ साझा करते हैं। जो भी पुण्य मैंने आज से पहले किए हैं उन सब में आप सबका भागीदार हूँ। पुण्यस्य इदानी आना अन्यानि कृतानि मे ते संच भागिनो हन्तु सत्तानन्तपमानका। मुदिता ब्रह्म विहार, जिन किन्हीं को हम जानते हैं जो प्रसन्न हैं उनको याद कर सकते हैं, या पहले किसी की प्रसन्नता में हम शामिल हुए हों, और जो लोग बीमारी से उभरे हैं, स्वास्थ्य लाभ कर रहे हैं, उनके बारे में जानते हों या सुना हो, उनको याद करके मन में प्रसन्नता जगाते हैं। शुभकामना करते हैं कि उनकी प्रसन्नता बनी रहे, सुख संपत्ति बनी रहे, कोई व्यवधान ना आए। यथा लब्धा संपत्तितो मा विगच्छन्तु। अंत में उपेक्षा ब्रह्म विहार, सभी ब्रह्म विहारों को संयमित रखने वाला, हमारे मन को संयमित रखने वाला, दुख से मुक्ति का बहुत अच्छा माध्यम, टूल। भगवान की वाणी हमें याद दिलाती है कि जो भी परिस्थिति हम महसूस कर रहे हैं, सुख की, दुख की, वो सब हमारे अपने कर्मों का फल है। तो ये बात जान के कुशल कर्म करने की प्रवृत्ति जागे, अकुशल कर्म करने की प्रवृत्ति छूटे, लोगों को दोष न दें, दूसरों को अपने दुख का कारण किसी और को न माने, यद्यपि वो भासमान सत्य भी हो सकता है। तो भगवान की वाणी को याद करते हैं। कम्मस्य का कम्मदायादा कम्मयोनि कम्मबन्धु कम्मपटिशरणं यं कम्मं करिष्यन्ति कल्याणं वा दुःखं वा तस्य दायादा भविष्यन्ति। इस श्लोकीय सम्मादिट्ठी से आगे बढ़ते हुए सचमुच में अगर समता का प्रतिष्ठित होना है तो लोकोत्तर सम्मादिट्ठी, चार आर्य सत्यों का निरंतरता से दर्शन, जीवन में उसको हृदयंगम करना, आत्मसात करना, ताकि हम अपने दुखों के सही कारण, तृष्णा, राग, द्वेष, काम तृष्णा, भव तृष्णा, विभव तृष्णा को जान सकें और दुखों से मुक्ति का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकें, इन सब तृष्णाओं का त्याग के। और हमसे कोई और गलत काम ना हो, जिससे कि दुख और बढ़े। तो इसलिए सम्यक दर्शन बहुत आवश्यक। तो आए हम सब शुभेच्छा करें कि सभी प्राणी दुख से मुक्त हो, उनकी दृष्टि सम्यक हो, ताकि कोई गलत काम न करें। सबे सत्ता सुखी होन्तु, सबे होन्तु चखेमिनो, सबे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा किञ्चित् पापमागमा, मा किञ्चित्
शोकमागमा,
मा किञ्चित् दुःखमागमा। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वबुद्धानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं, रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता, सर्वधर्मानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु ते। भवतु सर्वमङ्गलं,
रक्षन्तु सर्वदेवता,
सर्वसङ्घानुभावेन सदा सुखी भवन्तु ते। सम्मा सम्बुद्धो भगवा बुद्धं भगवन्तं अभिवादेमि। स्वागतो भगवता धम्मो धम्मं नमस्सामि।
सुपटिपन्नो
भगवतो सावक संघो संघं नमामि।